is a presentation. My topic is unmasking the misconception, the power of test design in automation. Specifically automation, because the test design is the area which is really not many topics or not many papers available for automation part. So the test design ignored in most of the cases because of the people think the automation tool is the will only put the information on the how successful automation is like. So I'd like to start my presentation on this. I will try to explain my paper about what are the we are trying to achieve in this and what are the best practices in the automation part. So in my article, I explored the prevailing misconception in the realm of the test automation, the annotation, the automation harbor of exceptional potential to convert subpar the test design into streamline the dependable procedure. The paper highlights the inseparable connection between test design and successful test automation, emphasizing the effectiveness of the automation is dependent on the quality of the test automation. The paper argued that inadequate test design cannot be rectified by test automation tool, empowering tangible instance from the real world and inside perspective that are incapable in the practical. It emphasized the importance of robust principle of the design test, additionally dive into the potential consequences that can arise from neglecting the design aspect of testing, and offer a strategy and aligning the test design with the automation in order to maximize the effectiveness of the testing endeavor. The paper also served the cautionary message to testing community, underscore the fact that automation is merely the tool and not the universal solution. It further assists that the key to success lies establishing solid foundation and well-crafted test. So these are the things. Let's move on. I just like to give my introduction before going ahead. I am Rohit Khankhoje. I am from Indiana, US. I am independent researcher in industry. I have 16-year plus experience working with the California-based e-commerce company. I work as a test automation architect. I have different domain experts like healthcare, logistic, automotive, e-commerce. I have some paper published. Please feel free to reach out and if you have anything about my paper. I have also worked on the artificial intelligence machine learning industry in the software industry. So I just wanted to talk about the automation. As I mentioned, the automation is a well-known things, and most of the people want to do more and more automation. And everyone knows without automation what will happen, and what are the drawbacks for the manual testing. Manual testing for that. So time-consuming, it's a low reliability, human resource, and inconsistency. When the automation comes, the speed, high reliability, coverage, repeatability, usability, and programming capability and enhance. This automation is only successful when we have correct test design, and most of the automation fall down and the breakdown most because of the not clear test design practice. So in my paper, we try to explain what are the best practices and what are the techniques we can use for designing test cases, what are the tools available for the test designing. So this helps anyone who worked on the automation and try to create automation framework with the better design. That's hope this paper helps. Moving on. So test automation market, I just wanted to explain a little bit about the test automation market. As I mentioned, this is very rarely paper published on this area. So I wanted to emphasize the numbers, which is more on the every year it's growing. So just wanted to have just the data to present to everyone, the importance of the test design and the test automation. Just give you introduction. In the introduction, I just wanted to explain like the realm software testing is currently experiencing noteworthy transformation. With the test automation taking the lead, organizations are increasingly adapting automation in their testing procedure in order to meet demand in rapid software development. And ensuring the delivery of high quality product when implementing correctly, automation present unparalleled benefit in terms of efficiency, repeatability, and speed. However, there is a prevalent misconception that automation alone can address all testing challenges, including those arise from inadequate test design. This paper also aimed to misconcept to highlighting fundamental truth, exploring the misconcepts. In pursuit of achieving effective test automation, the crucial role of test design cannot be overstated. Without well-convinced the meticulous execution test design, automation is powerful engine without designated path. It means it generates tremendous noise, but it not guided you intent destination. In this investigation, we will thoroughly examine relationship between test design and test automation. We will dive into consequences neglecting the test design, where effect the poor design choice extend beyond the inefficient essence of the testing process. Furthermore, we'll discuss about the harmonious test design and automation, reimagine test automation is significant partnership rather than magical solution. Our exploration will illuminate by concrete example and real world practical insight. It will become evident that automation, though powerful tool, it is most successful when it competent, well-structured designs. Poor test design is not problem with the automation is resolved. Let's move on. So there are some common misconceptions about the test design. One of the misconcept is one size fit all approach. The basic misconcept is the common misconcept that, but reality is no single test case can comprehensively address all potential scenario and edges. Software systems are complex, diverse input conditions. User interaction can lead to various outcomes. Relying on one size fit all approach limit the scope of testing and leveraging potential vulnerability and undiscovered issue of software. So why these misconceptions? There are reasons. Diversity of scenario, lacking of diversity of scenario. Software application often operate in diverse environment where various inputs and user behavior. Single test case cannot simulate the multiple real world condition. Inadequate coverage, depending on generic tests, may result in inadequate coverage. Critical functionality, we might miss that. Risk of oversighting the complex system may have dependency interaction. Assuming one test case sufficient for every combination, it is you are targeting your own performance and reliability. So how can you address the reality? The scenario-based testing. There are some adapting the scenario-based testing approach allow the creation of test cases that affect the real-world scenario user interaction. Comprehensive test suites build comprehensive test suites encompass positive, negative, corner test case, boundary test case can help the software to behave correctly. Adaptability, recognizing the testing need to adapt the dynamic nature of software development, encouraging the creation of the test case tailored the significance context of the requirement. By acknowledging the limitation, one size fit all approach embraces the more nuanced and context specific test design. Testing teams enhance effectiveness of the testing effort to deliver high quality software. Second misconception is mostly overemphasizing positive path. What is this like? A prevailing misconception of test design is overemphasizing positive path, where testing primarily focus on scenario where application is expected to function correctly. But in reality, software application often encounter unexpected input, errors, user actions, system failure. Relying solely on positive path neglect the potential vulnerability, edge cases, and error handling capability of the software. Why it is misconcept? Limited scope, it gives the limited scope focus predominantly positive scenarios, providing the limited scope of testing, overlooking the potential issue that may rise the non-identical condition. Neglecting handling also one of the misconceptions. The robust application should not perform well under optimal contribution, but also gracefully handle error. Neglecting error is unhandled exception, undesirable experience. Incomplete validation, of course, when we go ahead the only one way of path, it might not cover all the areas. So positive path testing may not to validate your input as assuming correct uses. This leaves vulnerable unaddressed, especially when user provide unexpected inputs. So how to address that reality? Negative testing is one of the best way, where the system deliberately subject to invalidate input the unexpected condition. Boundary testing is one of the way. Examine the boundary condition and extreme ensure the application approach to input the additional actionable range. Explorer testing is also one of the way to addressing this positive path misconceptions. So by acknowledging this is important for testing beyond positive path, terms can enhance the reliability of the software, delivering the most robust product that can witness the variety of real world scenarios. Third, the most important, the common misconception is like excessive detailing. So another common misconception, excessive detailing. Test case design is brief about providing excessive details test case, including every possible steps and action in the test automation. In reality, in detailed tests have their place. Exclusive detail approach may lead to insufficient, insecure maintenance effort, focus aspect rather than critical functionality. Why it is misconcept? Rigid, overly detailed test design and become rigid and make the challenge to adapt changes in the application, and it's difficult to maintain also. So as I mentioned, maintenance is a large number of test cases with the overly complex, excessive details, difficult to maintain, corresponding update, numerous test case, increased likelihood to errors. Focus in excessive detail might lead tester focus travel the obvious aspect of application, overlook more critical functionality required in depth testing. How can we address that reality? Modularity. So modularity is adapting modular approach to test this design, more flexible, break down tests into smaller reusable components that helps to excessive detail, reduce the excessive detail on each test case. Focus on critical path, prioritizing the scenarios where we need to focus, concentrate the area significant impact the application and the end user. Test data variation, instead of detail every possible scenario, incorporate various test data in your test scenarios. It helps you compress your coverage. By striking the balance between detail and flexible, team can create tests and both compressive and adaptable, optimizing this testing effort, promoting effectiveness in test assurance process. Common misconcept is like automation as a pinnacle. A common misconception viewing the automation is a one size fit for everything and address all testing need without considering the limitation. But reality, it is not universal remedy for all the testing challenge. There are scenarios where manual testing and combination both play their own critical role. So why it is misconcepts? Complex test scenario, automation may struggle. High complex test scenario where required subject human judgment, central aspect, experience, visual validation, explorer testing, often suited for manual testing, not the automation. High maintenance is overhead. Automation tests required maintenance, especially in dynamic environment where the application undergo frequent changes. Depending upon solely in automation without addressing maintenance challenge can lead insufficient. Initial investment Initial investment in automation involve time and resource. In the scenario where low returns, where the application is subject to frequent change, upfront cost overweight. How can we address this? Strategic test selection. So when we design test, we have to select the design with the well suited for automation. Such repetitive, time-consuming regression test case. Strategic selection ensure that automation effort and focus on area where they provide the most value. Regular evaluation, continuously checking effectiveness of test automation. The test become complex and it's required maintenance for each and every steps. Hybrid approach. Hybrid testing approach combine the strength of both manual and automation. The approach allows the leverage automation repetitive tasks while preventing flexibility of manual testing in complex scenarios. By acknowledging these, the limitation of automation, adopting programmatic testing strategy, team can maximize the benefit of automation and help in the design and testing the application. Later part, I want to talk about where the test design come into the complete automation development and how important it is this. So first part is almost every test automation framework require test planning, defining a scope, identifying the objective of the role of the automation, deciding testing tool framework use, establish strategies. Second, the most important part is test designing, which is backbone of any automation to work. Develop test case based on the requirement and specification, identify test data necessary precondition, design a script scenario and automation, determine expected result for each test cases. Second part is development, of course, automation development while automating script based on design test case, develop automation framework, utilize existing one, configure test environment and set up the data. Execution part also run the automation scripts and monitor and capture the result, identify the and log the bug, analyzing the reports, analyzing the results compared with the expected outcome, generating reports, communicate results with the stakeholders. And the last part is maintenance, where the test design play the important role. How the test design is improved, maintenance and the retesting and development will help to complete solution for the software. So update the test script, accommodating changes in the application, modify test data and configuration as needed. Enhance the refactor automation script is better efficient. By incorporating this test design before implementing the automation script terms, ensure they structure and well through the approach in test automation. This approach helps to creating effective of maintenance automation suite. There are some benefits of test design which helps to create better automation effectiveness. So one of the few I mentioned here. So one of best effective test design crucial for success of any testing effort. Improve test coverage. Well-designed tests ensure comprehensive coverage of application under test, addressing various scenario and functionality. Early detection of the issues. Test case design, the focus of critical functionality and potential weak point and defect identification. Reusability, thoroughly designed test cases and modular can reuse across different phases of development. Effective communication, effective execution. These both are conscious target result faster and more efficient test execution, saving the time and the resource. Scalability, test case design is scalable and mind can accommodate changes in addition of the application, making easier to extend testing with the new feature. Adaptability changes, enhance collaboration. It clearly enhance the collaboration with the other team member, with the other application testing. Effective documentation also helps in the valuable document provide insight the testing process, methodology, and expected outcomes. Risk mitigations by addressing critical functionality and potential risk area. Effective test design help to mitigate risk associated with the application behavior. Increase confidence in the release. A thoroughly designed test contribute the overall quality of the software and boosting confidence to releasing the product. Cost saving, earlier detection, effective test execution, reliability continue to contribute cost saving. There are some benefits. What are the best way to test design helps? So I identified their test coverage. So there are ways measuring the test coverage to essential to access how well test suite is executing, exercising functionality of the software. There are various type of the coverage metrics available. Choose of the which one is used depend on the objective of requirement and testing approach. First and most important is the code coverage. Whether the code coverage measure the percentage of the code line, branches, and the path. How to measure that? This can be measured using a specialized tool analyzing the code, identifying which part have been executed during test run. Example, if you test suite cover 80% code line, you can say you have 80% code coverage. Second is the functional coverage. Functional coverage measure the extent of each functional requirement of the software has been tested. The involved mapping test case specific functional requirement of user story. The coverage is then calculated based on the number of requirement and has corresponding test cases. If your application have 20 functional requirement and you test cover 18 of them, you can say 90% functionality covered. Requirement coverage, similar to functional coverage, requirement coverage focus on especially in the testing against document requirement. If your project has 50% requirement, 50 requirements, and your test suite cover 45 of them, you can say 90% covered. Risk-based coverage. Risk-based cover involve the prioritizing test scenarios based on the perceived risk associated with the different feature and the product. The test cases are prioritized based on impact and likelihood of failure. The coverage is then measured against the high priority test cases. If you identify 100 high risk area of the application, your test should cover 8, you can say 80% is covered. Usability coverage and time-based coverage. Usability coverage assesses how well user interface and overall experience have been tested. Time-based coverage considers how well the test should perform under the time constraint, especially the scenario like performance testing. Remember that achieving 100% coverage is at any specific often challenge and might not be practical for all situations. The choice of when coverage metrics depend on the nature of the project and objective of the testing. Test execution efficiency. Measuring test execution efficiency in the context of test design evolving how quickly effective your test suite runs. It's dependent on how better you have test design. Test execution time, the total time it takes execution entire suite. Faster execution time generally preferred, but should balance with the need of thorough design. Parallel execution, the ability to execute multiple test scenario concurrently is the preferable. Parallel execution can significantly reduce overall time. Test suite optimization, the efficiency of individual test case are overall the test suite. Efficiency test case are not reduce execution time, but also make maintenance easier to improve overall reliability of the test suite. Selective test execution, ability to select exclusive specific scenario and group of the test. Selective test execution is useful for focus of critical area during development and quick feedback. Resource utilization, how efficient your system and memories and CPU are utilized during the execution. That's depend on how well your test design is. Effective use of resource, that test process does not have unnecessary strain of system. Failure analysis and debugging. The streamlined debugging process contribute the faster turnaround time for fixing issue. And remember, achieving the balance between execution speed through the testing is crucial. High effective test suite should provide quick feedback to development team while ensuring that critical functionality are adequately covered. Reliability in the automation. The measuring the reliability automation crucial for ensuring the automation tests provide accuracy and trustworthy results. Test pass rate. The consistency high pass indicate the automation tests are reliable and verifying the expected behavior. The test failure analysis, the quick turnaround is resolved. The results indicate efficient debugging process and contribute overall reliability. Consistency in test results. Consistent result across various configurations demonstrate the reliability of automation test case different scenarios. False positive and false negative. Minimizing false positive and false negative contribute the reliability of the automation process, and it's depend on the test designs. Error reporting and logging. Well-documented log error message are quickly identified, addressing rule and improvement. Code review and maintenance. Well-structured, maintained code enhance the reliability of automation suite over the time. By considering these metrics and practicals, you can establish comprehensive approach to measuring the improvement of reliability of the test automation based on the test case design. Regularly reviewing your design strategy based on the metrics will contribute the ongoing reliability of effectiveness of practice design. There are some tools available which is more on artificial intelligence significant role to design better test for your automation. It brings intelligent efficiency, optimization, and the process. Here are some test AI tools contribute creating better test design. Test AI, there are feature utilizing AI algorithm to automatically generate execution test cases. Test graph, we use AI, artificial intelligence, web element, and create resistance tests, support continuous testing, offer codeless testing for automation with the self-healing capability. There are some major retest. Retest is also applied for AI anomaly and application by learning from the user interaction, automatically adapt the test and change the application. So these are the tools. Not only the presented tool, there are a lot of tools which is open source and the proprietary tool which helps the create better test design for your solution for this product. At the end, I wanted to conclude this misunderstanding about automation testing. We have emphasized the utmost significance to precise test case development. It is not simple procedure measure. It is rather a special element to effective test through scope, efficient execution, adequately reliable through design, clarifying misconcept and revealing the genuine potential of a skillful test case generation for automation domain. Thank you so much for hearing me, and it's a pleasure being with all of you. Thank you so much. If anyone have any questions.